you have to go to an occasion and people will be like, okay, look at this scary lady coming up, and it was so devastating for me at that time. And
GBC 24 here in the capital. This is Women's Voice and you're welcome to the program. My name is Selikem Akola-Chiapalu. Today on the show we're going to be looking at kidnappings, why women are more vulnerable. Over the last few weeks, the country has been awash with conversations about kidnappings that have taken place in Takoradi. We know that 3 girls have been kidnapped. 3 young girls between the ages of 15 to about 18 have all been kidnapped between August last year and December last year. The girls have still not been found. We are told, however, that the girls are alive. That's news we just received recently. And we are told that there will also be a team of investigators arriving from the United Kingdom and the United States of America to assist the Ghana police in finding the Takoradi kidnapped girls. However, parents are worried and society is frantic about the speed at which this investigation is taking shape. We're going to be looking at why girls in particular are vulnerable. What are some of the techniques that are used by kidnappers in luring girls? And in some of the instances, we are told that they were lured with jobs and lured with mobile phones, and the kidnappers were in contact with them over a period of time. But why does this tend to happen? And as a woman and a girl out there, how security conscious are you? And how do we also protect our loved ones from such incidents? My guest in the studio is a man who has become very familiar with issues concerning security as well as issues concerning international relations. I'm talking about security analyst and international relations expert Irbard Ibrahim, who has joined us for this discussion. And you're welcome, Irbard.
Thank you so much.
We're glad that you made time to join us today on this very important subject.
I think, as I keep saying, you're doing so great. And then I don't know whether to compare you to Christian Amanpour or say you are the female version of Komla Dumo to the world. Yeah. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So let's begin by describing typically what happens in the kidnapping situation or in an abduction situation.
I think people who are on the outside and that are not involved with the intelligence community in the Republic of Ghana, I've been taken aback by this, piece of incident or information that has come out. But kidnappings are not too uncommon in the Republic of Ghana. I'm into security consulting, and I have a client currently who is into the mining sector. He's been here for quite some time, employing a lot of Ghanaians in the process.
Okay, so he's an expatriate?
An expert, yes, an expert. And what happened in his case, I'll be quite cautious because the issue is still in court, and there is still no clarity on a number of issues that we need clarity on. It looked like mercenaries were hired from outside the country, and they kidnapped him and kept him in detention for months, moving him to a number of locations
across here in Ghana.
Yes, and when the kidnapping happened, those who stopped him around the East Legon area had an Interpol cap. So Ghana is gradually becoming a safe haven for criminals, and it all boils down to our inability to establish the relevance of the nexus between migration and national security interests we have. Yeah, because people come in, this country is a leaking bucket. People come in, and all we are concerned about is have they paid their residence permit or they've paid for their working permit. But who are they? Why are they here? What are their criminal records? We are not too concerned about those. So Sally, I would dare say that these things we are seeing, the burgeoning brutality we are seeing, is alien to the Ghanaian culture, is alien to the Ghanaian youth. Young people are learning from bad international practices imported into the country in the form of migrants that come. And again, Ghana is an oasis of stability in quite a turbulent region. Burkina Faso is unstable. It has been since the ouster of Blaise Compaoré. Togo is still on fire. La Côte d'Ivoire has seen a number of wars in the past 2 decades. And a lot of Nigerians coming from the south-south, those coming from the southeast, those coming from the northeast, whether it's Boko Haram, all of these people are coming into Ghana. And very little is done to vet people. In the U.S., Donald Trump only thinks that there are a few bad Mexicans that come to the U.S., so he wants to seal off the border. That is how important migration is in matters of security.
This is closely linked with migration and the trends currently.
Yes, yes, and that is a very important piece of the puzzle. A lot of people seem not to pay attention to. It wasn't for any reason that we named the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. Even though we've ratified protocols on the free movement of persons and goods, even Togo controls the influx of people that go there. Wherever you go, they ask you about your carte d'identité, your identity card. Nobody uses any form of identity in Ghana. Expats own land in Ghana and they are selling to Ghanaians. And very soon, non-Ghanaians will ascend the throne in various parts of the country as chiefs. And so we need to do a critical, analysis and diagnosis of this issue. And poor people, indigenous people, are being gentrified. They are being pushed from the center of town. How many indigenous Ghanaians can afford apartments in airport residential? How many can in cantonments? Apart from politicians and people in big business, who does? And so gradually we are becoming strangers in our own land. I'm not saying we should be xenophobic, right, but we need to look at migration as a national security issue.
Right. It's interesting that you talk about identifying and profiling of people who come in here, especially migrants. But we are still in the process, ourselves as Ghanaians, trying to get an identification for us which we'll use for official purposes. We are still in that process. In other African countries, you can talk about Ethiopia, police states, where once you enter the country or you arrive at any of the borders, your phone is taking, certain details are quickly recorded, and all of these things. So when you are in there, you are very, very limited as to what to do. Is this what you're talking about, that we should be doing?
A strong bargaining chip we have as a country is the fact that we are seen as a free market. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is our current president, and everybody knows he's a warm person that welcomes people from other parts of the continent and other parts of the world in a warm embrace. And mind you, just before His Excellency Dramani Mahama gave way to Nana Addo, there was this talk of entering Ghana from any African country visa-free, that we would only give you visa on arrival. For half a decade, my career was in diplomacy. I know what the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations talks about. And the vanguard we have is the embassy we have, our diplomatic mission abroad. How many Nigerians get vetted before they cross the flower border? How many Burkinabés get vetted before they cross Hamile or Paga or any of those areas? So fundamentally, Selikem, I think as a country, we need to up the ante. Right. Yes, we are welcoming. I see 5-star hotels popping up every now and then, and there is a boom in infrastructure. The real estate, enterprise is doing so well. But that is not enough. How many of Ghanaians are able to afford some of those? So we need to start the debate, right, on looking at migration as a national security issue.
We've looked at some of the issues concerning national security, but typically in a kidnapping scenario, what do you see happening?
In the case of my client, right, I don't want to take you further afield. Take you further afield like in Iraq and Afghanistan, where they abduct people and behead them, decapitate them. In our case, reasons for kidnapping border on economics, and that's why sometimes there's a demand for a ransom. And I think, I don't want to say those who have perpetrated this heinous act against innocent girls are coming from the south or southeast of Nigeria, but I see trappings and vestiges of the operations or modus operandi of the MENT militants, Movement for the Emancipation of the Niger Delta. Because when you look at the venue and circumstance of the kidnapping, Tadi, an oil city that holds a lot of promise for our economy. So this could be a test of the waters. And if we don't crush this thing at its infantile stage, it will go into a Frankenstein. And very soon, if we don't hear of cases of piracy, then we'll hear of an ExxonMobil expert worker having been kidnapped, someone with ENI that has come to do exploration having been kidnapped. So therefore, it's a serious issue. We need to tackle it. So in the case of my client, he was abducted for economic reasons. A little business went bad, and therefore he was forced into signing papers, transferring a lot of property. He was coerced into doing that. When the world was unaware of his whereabouts and why he was signing off on some of those property. But in the case of these girls, I shudder to think maybe a ransom wasn't at the center of the motive. And it's been months on end. I don't want to break their hearts.
We just had assurance from the Minister for Gender that the girls are indeed alive because the suspect, one of the suspects in police custody, has begun talking, and he's giving assurance that the girls are alive.
Normally,
what do you make of the pace at which the investigations are ongoing? Now we are hearing that we'll be introducing investigators from the UK and the US to help.
No, I'm not surprised that we are enlisting expertise from our international partners. It's standard practice to do that.
Okay.
And the US sought our help in the case of Gitmo 2, not because they didn't have maximum detention centers, they did, but then they sought the help of a tiny nation like Ghana, and we took in Benatif and Aldubi. The bargaining chip the United States will come with in investigating this kidnapping incident or group of incidents is that the U.S. has got assets in the region. And by assets, I mean they have satellite capabilities in the region because they are monitoring the activities of Akim in the Sahel. And Burkina Faso is of great interest to the Americans. They are monitoring the activities of Boko Haram and all that. So I think maybe the United States will be able to reenact the movement of the kidnappers or the girls, depending upon how much information we give about the last time the girls were seen in Tadi. So I think that is the only game changer, that the U.S. may be able to provide satellite imagery of what happened. Apart from that, I don't see anything extraordinary.
How many months, right from August all the way to the end of last year, now we're in a new year, parents are concerned.
They should be.
Are girls safe out there?
And I know you are so passionate about girls.
Yeah.
So we are all heartbroken. We don't know the fate of the girls. And I don't like the way information comes out piecemeal.
Right.
People give false hope. You don't carry out investigations that way. And then, of course, with the advent of cybercrime, Sakawa, and now people have graduated into the use of rituals. You can... I don't know, I don't want to shatter our hopes.
That's fine.
Yes,
but
I don't want to shatter our hopes.
So the girls fall within the age bracket of millennials, the millennials, who are almost always on the internet and involved in social media. What are we exposing ourselves to? And is there anything that we can do, probably, to curtail social media being used as a trapping?
A few cases of ISIS recruitment took place through social media. And for so long I've said that Ghana should have a social media security strategy. At first, only a year or two ago, we didn't even have a counter-terror national policy. We just formulated one as a working document. And then we are adopting the 3P approach. We need to prevent, preempt, and then protect. And that would be a discussion for another day. But I think we can extrapolate that into the use of social media. Every device, whether a mobile phone, an iPad, or a laptop, has got a unique IP address. And people use pseudonyms on social media. If the person is Sally Kim, the person may say Sally. Oh no, Sally is even close to your name. Just something else.
Yes.
Kojo uses something else. So it becomes very difficult for parents, especially mothers, to monitor who their girl children are talking to. And again, we should also regulate the way these girls have access to smartphones. Even in the high schools.
What kind of regulation are we talking
in the
about?
high schools, they were told not to use mobile phones, but they do. So they get lured. And some of these girls could have voluntarily walked into the into harm's way because they wanted to eat out or have a date or something. So therefore, Tonaton is a place where people trade to sow and a host of others, but there are bad guys out there and that would want to manipulate the system. So we may need to look at having a close-ended, policy as to how. So it is only in Ghana where you can open any website in the world. Every single website that is online, there are no checks and balances. You can open those websites in Ghana. In China, there is no Facebook. There isn't YouTube. There isn't Google.
Isn't that a bit extreme?
No, it isn't. And China is still helping you despite your exposure. So therefore, Selikem, I think we need to do an introspection as a continent and know how to. There's so much consumerism, and we swallow hook, line, and sinker everything that comes from the West. And the danger of having our girls kidnapped will even be greater with Facebook's latest announcement that they are merging the Facebook platform with WhatsApp. So you can actually contact people when they don't follow you on Facebook. So what are we doing? How do we keep up with the pace of technology so that we protect our vulnerable ones, like teens who are so impressionable and believe whatever they are told?
I want us to come to some of the luring techniques and tactics used by people with such profile, because I believe you understand how they operate better. But we'll do that after this break. This is Women's Voice. Today on the program we're looking at kidnappings and we're asking why are girls more vulnerable, and particularly profiling the kidnappings of the 3 girls in Takoradi, which is of great interest to a lot of people right now in this country, generating a lot of conversation and debate. We are on WhatsApp and text. You can send us text or WhatsApp. The number is 0245-780-116 if you have your views and comments or even questions about the subject for today. We're also live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My guest in the studio is security analyst Irbard Ibrahim. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Women's Voice. Today on the program, we're looking at kidnappings. We're asking why are girls more vulnerable. My guest in the studio is international relations expert and security analyst and consultant Irbard Ibrahim, joining us in the studio. Before we took the break, I talked about some of the techniques that are used in luring not just girls but young people, mostly young people within that bracket, into being kidnapped and abducted.
Some people, I don't know the income flow of the family involved. Right. But one thing everybody falls for, and I'm sure you did when you were in your teens, is love. Romance.
We're not sure about that. Gladly, I'm not the one being interviewed.
Yes.
Right.
We all
so yeah, the teen thing, yes. Love,
because
romance,
people are bubbly, and people are filled with testosterone, especially the males. In our time, or in your time, I remember when I was in high school, only a few people had access to a phone. But today, And what we did at that time was that we would exchange letters I attended a Catholic school, Opukuwari school. We were all boys. So they had something they called Alliance. So we were in a science class. You would write to maybe St. Louis girls and they would reply. And between one correspondence to the other, you could even end the term. But in real time, people can communicate today. So the young girls are bombarded with a barrage of romantic messages. And at that tender age, they may easily fall for some of those. We hear cases of cybercrime where highly educated women, highly empowered women fall for very cheap, romantic, scams. So it's an innate, desire to want to be with the opposite gender, especially when parents put checks and balances to prevent you from going out. Your phone becomes your best companion. And to add insult to injury is audiovisual now. You can actually see each other in real time. Right. So the temptation is even higher. So I will urge parents to sneak in and know what their wards are doing with the smartphones they give them. In some homes, children as young as age 10 are given smartphones. That is too early. We need to control how they use the phone. So romance is something everybody falls for. The Director General of GBC can fall for love. An intern can fall for love. This is a natural thing. So therefore it becomes very difficult for you to control. And then material allure or materialistic allure. Get a girl in Ghana, an average girl, the latest iPhone, and she's game. So we need to also look at that as well. And then some people predators who want to prey on people may also try to meet them in a supermarket, want to pay for your cab when you are in the same taxi. And just be careful around strangers. Yes, and as Ghanaian as we are so hospitable. You say hello to a person on 2 different occasions, then you are in their list of friends. They call you off, oh, you're madam for, oh, you're nenet. So we need to be very careful. Don't open up too much. We are not saying be snobbish, but don't let out too much information about yourself. There are some people who say, hello, hi, can you direct me to this place? Oh, I've been here for 15 years. This is my house. I have 3 sisters. Yeah, so we shouldn't let out too much personal information like that, and I believe that will be helpful. But fundamentally, the 2, indicators I think we need to look at is romance, and then number 2, the materialistic allure people are tempted with. And there are some websites that are quite scary now, like Tinder. Do you know today you can subscribe to a website and you can solicit a woman within a geographical area. She picks an Uber, comes to you, doesn't know you from Adam, goes wherever you want to go with her, and then you pay her. It's happening in Accra. People are using Tinder, which is a global, networking site. So Ghana can take a deliberate, policy decision that, yes, we aren't saying we are holier than thou, but as a country, our conscience shouldn't allow us accept some of these.
But talking about the fact that girls are even more exposed, in 2 of the incidents, they talked about job opportunities, being offered job opportunities. Now, if you are, a young girl or boy, and you're looking out for a job, you're really desperate, times are hard, and you see a job offer, what would make you think that maybe this is something you should watch or take a second look at?
Especially in the modeling agencies. Yes. And then I have serious issues, and maybe Sally, you may have to look into this issue. The pageants.
The beauty pageants.
The beauty pageants. The manipulation, the exploitation, the cloak of opportunities that are created in some of these. A former queen of one of the pageants was in touch, and she told me she didn't have a freedom. Bullying is an issue of national security for us. when people don't have the freedom to do what they so desire, it's a national security issue for us. Why did we fight the Brits for independence? They told us where to go and where not to go. So therefore, fundamentally, we need a complete overdo of the systems we have. And I believe that job opportunities, and women jump at every opportunity to travel, for example. If you want a lady, tell her you will take her to Dubai. And there's nothing extraordinary about traveling. Wherever you travel in the world, you can actually lodge in a five-star hotel.
The things
Those are the things they use.
That a job will come with travel
opportunities and all that. So when it's too good to be true, they know that it's not true. And there are times even people come and pick up children from their families with the promise of taking them abroad to pursue education. And they don't know those people from anywhere. Some of our girls are trafficked in the Middle East, all in the name of job opportunities. Maybe the girl has never made 2K in her life before. Or they say, okay, the equivalent of what you will get is about 2K. You're only going to be a cleaner. And she ends up doing something else because her passport will be taken away from her. So therefore, I would urge all of us to be quite cautious, not to jump at every opportunity to get employed. Just be careful, and then we need to have credible employment or recruitment agencies. And still on social media,
these things are not there.
They are not there. They are completely, as a state, we don't even have a mechanism for recruitment. Apart from these knee-jerk, policies that are meant to keep parties in power. After your national service, they bid you good riddance. No proper structures for you to get employed. So while you're on Facebook or Twitter, on your timeline, something pops up. You call the line, they ask you to meet someone, and you go. Many people are killed and dumped in Ghana, and it doesn't even make the headlines. So I would urge everybody, even though we have some confidence in our state security agencies, to take personal safety and security issues very important.
For young people who tend to fall prey to these things, what do you look out for? Say someone wants to meet you somewhere. Should you be taking a second look at the location, the time? What are some of the safety guarantees that you can take into consideration?
One good thing
meet me somewhere. What should you be looking at?
One thing, Sally, about cyber criminals is that they are more patient than the word patient. So the target is given a name. Your name is a client. And in marketing, your client or customer is always right. You should have patience for your client. How do you get a white man to believe that you can supply them gold when you don't work for the PMMC and you are not a miner? It takes a great deal of patience. So they work on you, they process you psychologically. They make you build trust in them. So the first thing could be a hello. Oh, Sally, I like your hair. Then the person vanishes after a while. So you would at least expect that this is the abyss. Over time. And we are human. Selikim, we are human. And when the monetary enticement comes in, then it's a done deal. Like you don't know anybody and the person says, I'm wiring money to you. And Ghanaians, the way we are...
And you don't think it's suspicious?
Yes, you don't think it's suspicious. So the person may be digging a grave, an abyss for you to fall in. So let's keep our guard a little. It's going to be so helpful for us. Yes, let's keep our guard. We are all vulnerable. Haven't you heard of politicians that are taking places only because they've been promised we'll sponsor your campaign to be an MP? Yes, we are human. That is why I keep harping on the human element. From where I'm sitting, if you should give me $1 million anytime we meet, wherever you go, if you even dive into the ocean, I'm with you. So there are enticers that are used, influencers that are used. That is why I believe in prayer. Because sometimes you do stuff, you don't know why you did them. People get sold a bar of key soap as the latest iPhone. They get home and they keep wondering what really happened.
They actually examine the phones. They see that this is the phone, all right. But they end up going away with bars of cases.
And we have so many cases. Many of the cases you hear are foreign cases. But in Ghana, empowered women on their own wire loads of monies to people. Politicians are lured into giving a lot of money to people who are coming from the West African sub-region. So Ghana for me is now a safe haven for some of those criminal activities.
Do you also feel that perhaps these people, also perpetrators, also use odd means such as hypnotism and all that? Say there are people who are just walking by, meet a stranger, the stranger asks for directions. The next thing you know, the person has taken your iPad.
In fact,
or your phone.
In fact, there are people who even recounted, okay, I'm going to the next junction. The person sits in your car and says, okay, get out of the car. Then the person drives it away. So, are people hypnotized?
Right.
I'm not superstitious, Sally, but I believe, yes, we have to be careful and we have to be prayerful.
Right. You know, in the past, it was very easy for parents to send their children off to school, very long distances. We all did it. We walked to school several miles to and fro, and it was very safe. Is that okay to be doing even now?
Now, I think there needs to be a little orientation. I was actually thinking about it yesterday.
Right.
With the spate of kidnappings, we need to reorient the kids themselves.
Right. How?
And it has to do with stakeholder engagement. We have to engage the schools. The Ministry of Education should partner, civil society organizations so that we engage the kids themselves. Because somebody can drive in with the same type of car you are picked with every day when you close from school. And you could be cajoled into taking the wrong car, and then it would speed off somewhere. And we are not able to pick up the pieces of evidence. We aren't able to put two and two together. So as soon as the event happens, and there is no surveillance, Selikem. Look at the Medina, incident of assassination. I'm sorry to say this on TV. I partnered some people to fix surveillance cameras. They didn't give us the job. And the alleyways we have, they are not under surveillance. So therefore, if we had proper surveillance in the capital and other parts of the country, it would be very easy. Why? What happened? Some people shot somebody while they were on a motorbike. Can't you play back? You can just play back and then see and pick up evidence. These girls, when was the last time they were seen? There's no surveillance anywhere. So therefore, I would advocate that for every 2 or 3 street lights, we can have a CCTV camera or a control room to watch over us. It would be helpful.
The messages coming in talking about, this one says, we just lost that, but we'll try and get it back up, and then we'll talk about some of the issues that are cropping up. Apart from stakeholder engagement, like what you're saying the schools should do, what about parents, caregivers who puts their children on buses and taxis, or where taxis go to pick children from school to and fro? What are the things we should be looking at?
And some of the young mothers are doing so great. And normally when you have a young couple and both the man and the woman are working, and they may solicit the assistance of a relative to look over the kids. But it's quite refreshing. Some mothers would have time to go an hour or two before school closes, and then picks up the kids. So therefore, yes, the kids are vulnerable. We ourselves are vulnerable. And therefore, issues of personal security should be important to everybody. Parents should have time for the kids. They should. It's very important.
Okay, this message says, fantastic discussion, Selikem. However, these matters of security, with these matters of security, we all have to bring in God or a man of God to help us to understand what is going on. Maybe it is as a result of some issues that we have dealt with in the past. Okay, I don't understand exactly what.
Yes, of
I
course.
know you just mentioned that you believe in God. And
no, I mean they employ voodoo.
Voodoo.
Yes, in some of these sense, yes.
Okay. So Rashid is saying, good evening, Salikem. Great discussion, but I think that we can look at other security measures, especially even at home. A lot of us leave our main doors open without the proper security. These are all matters that leave us vulnerable. Those are some of the messages coming in.
The updates we give on social media, we have to be super careful.
Oh yeah, the locations. I am
yes,
at
the updates.
Fridays.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm in Dubai. I'm here.
Yes, the updates too. And we all live our lives on social media now. So whatever you put out there gives clues to people who want to do you harm. So be careful what you put out there. And when you have a brand new thing, you advertise it to the world. I just got my baby. You understand?
Your car, your baby, any new development
in your life.
This is the information that can be used to profile you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and especially if you are single and everybody knows you are the only one who lives in your apartment. A simple, update. Now I'm at this pub gives a load of information about where you are, and somebody can strike. And then we also advise that to those who remain late in the office, when you drive home and you are tailed by the same car with the same driver plate or the number plate, don't drive home and drive to the nearest, police station, police checkpoint. And I'm also concerned about the Kasora Accra stretch, not the mall. Even right from the overhead up to Malam overhead, there's only one checkpoint at night. It's terrible.
So should something happen to you at any point?
Who do you turn to for succor? Yeah, police presence is very thin. Checkpoints you used to know have evaporated now. And then visibility, the idea of police
lighting or even a lighting on the streets.
Yeah. So we are in God's care, and we can only pray. I understand the constraints of the Ghana Police Service because we do retraining for some of them. I understand the constraints, and there is no motivation. They are ill remunerated. Sacrifice and reward. Sacrifice is not rewarded and all that. Yeah, so it becomes very difficult for somebody to want to kill themselves for the nation. So I think a lot needs to be done to keep Ghana safe.
Okay. Vince says, I think that single ladies should not have boys as their house helps. Instead, they should rather have girls. Any credence to this? Maybe it's because of the Medina case, the GPHA murder.
Okay, I think a human being can be the loveliest person around you, and a human being can be the greatest risk to you. If you are a minister, your life is literally, after God, it is your driver that controls your life. Your cook. You are at work and the kids returned from school, they have to eat. Your cook may poison them and poison herself. She may poison the whole family. So we recommend that self-help is very important. That was how our parents brought us up. There are wives that do nothing, close to nothing for their husbands because they think they are upper class. And that is why I'm at variance with this call for feminism and female empowerment. A woman should cook her husband's food. She should cook for her kids. Very basic things you need to do. Just do. Ask for external assistance where there is a pressing need to do that. If not, and then when you also get people to assist, get people from close relatives.
Right.
And then when people are successful now, they want to run away from their families. The communal extended family where we used to live. 30 years ago, one uncle would be successful and the whole extended family was okay. But someone makes a 5-digit salary and he doesn't know his family. He doesn't even go to the family house. You can have a 15-bedroom house and there is a man and his wife and 2 little kids. When you live in a communal way, that is why when a prey of lions targets, wild, animals or predators do that, they make sure those that are isolated as those that are attacked. And so the mere fact that you live in a communal way deters criminals from coming. So let's go back to our African family values and systems where your success should go around rather than, monopolizing it for your wife and your kids. And the women too. Some of you are not too helpful. All in the name of, I want my privacy. I can't stay with your mother and your sisters and brothers. I don't want to do
There's a message from Hannah asking for what we should do. What should you do when you are kidnapped? How do you get help? Just as your wrap up.
Nothing you can do, but I recommend. Being kidnapped is just like being attacked by armed robbers. It would be a wrong time to act Rambo or commando at that time. There should be as little resistance as possible. Where you can scream, do. Scream. And I was told of a case, someone was screaming, okay, no, he's mad, he's gone mad, we are taking him to the preacher's house or a sanctuary. So where people call out for help, let's, take them serious and then help them. And then those are the checkpoints in the night. It doesn't suffice to do this with your torchlight. The trunks, the boots of cars, nobody checks them. So when you transport a kidnappee, it's likely you would put the person in a boot.
The boots, because it won't be checked.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
You're most
Irbard,
welcome,
for being
for
on the
having
program.
me.
Irbard Ibrahim, of course, is an international relations expert and a security analyst with a Irbard Consult, and so many other things that he's doing to support our great nation. He has been very, very helpful in this conversation, giving us a lot of things to look out for in these times. And as we continue to pray that these girls are found, let's all be security conscious. My name is Selikem Akola Chiapalu. Thank you so much for watching. We'll do it again tomorrow.